The HOA had been obsessed with tidying up the neighborhood for years, and when they set their sights on the small wetlands behind my property, I knew trouble was coming. Those wetlands weren't just swampy grass and mud, they were a thriving ecosystem filled with frogs, birds, and native plants that kept the area healthy and balanced. But the HOA, armed with heavy machinery and their endless community improvement mindset, bulldozed the wetlands anyway, claiming they were unsightly and unsafe. They didn't care about the environmental impact or the countless warnings from local conservationists. At first, I tried petitions, emails, and even peaceful protests, but the HOA ignored everything, convinced they were above the law. Then nature started fighting back, and it did so spectacularly. The wetlands had been acting as a natural sponge for rainwater, preventing floods, and once they were destroyed, there was nothing to hold back the excess water from the heavy seasonal rains. Within weeks, what had once been a calm neighborhood transformed into a flooded disaster zone. Streets turned into rivers, garages filled with muddy water, and lawns were washed away in the blink of an eye. Homes closest to the former wetlands were damaged so severely that the residents had to evacuate, including several of the HOA board members who had championed the destruction. Birds and frogs that had once thrived in the wetlands vanished, and invasive species began spreading into the area, further wreaking havoc on the carefully manicured lawns the HOA had tried so hard to maintain. While most neighbors scrambled to salvage their homes, I watched from my property untouched because my land was on slightly higher ground. Preserved naturally by the ecosystem the HOA had foolishly destroyed. It was a harsh lesson in respect. Nature cannot be controlled, and when you try to manipulate it recklessly, the consequences can be catastrophic. The HOA was left scrambling, dealing with angry residents, insurance claims, and a ruined reputation, while the local news covered the story as a warning to other communities about environmental negligence. In the end, the wetlands may have been destroyed physically, but they proved their power and importance in the most dramatic way possible. And as for me, I quietly documented everything, knowing that the true story of nature's revenge would be remembered long after the HOA's arrogance was washed away.